Welcome everyone to Walkathon Wednesday. Today we are back in the valley. We are in a neighborhood west of Van Nuys called Reseda. And where we're actually starting is a residential spot. We're inside one of the main grids there. And we're in an area outside of Reseda called Lake Balboa. Today's walk is going to be an interesting type of challenge in the sense that Reseda is very much a neighborhood that has changed drastically since its inception back in the early 1900s, largely as an agricultural community. But I would say that it's a bit of a microcosm of Los Angeles as a whole, because in a lot of parts of the neighborhood, you're going to find a very modern suburban feel, and that continues to develop today. But there are still a few remnants of its history, and so what we're going to do today is try to find that history and learn a little bit more about the community as it was, and then compare that a little bit with the community as it is today. As per usual, we're starting with a non-alcoholic beverage. I've been to many coffee shops across the valley, but in my opinion, this one is the best. Black Heart Coffee Company. It's a hidden gem on Balboa Boulevard, tucked neatly next to a pawn shop. A great starting point, considering the wall art which literally welcomes you to the area. Coffee quality is top tier. Interior is cozy and quiet, but the energy is still youthful and lively. At first glance, this may look like a set of sound stages. In fact, it's actually the west side of Van Nuys Airport. You can see small jets. This airport is unique because it isn't just an airport. It is also a complex full of businesses. One such place is a very well-hidden gem, Valley Relics Museum. Only open on Saturdays and Sundays, this museum hosts a collection of various memorabilia related to the valley. The complex also has a Pilates place, and even a Sky Zone trampoline park, the only one in LA proper, in fact. And, as you might expect, there are several flight schools in here too. Entering the residential side, it has a much more suburban feel than Van Nuys. It also looks like just about anywhere else. Bake sale nearby? Let's go check it out. Indeed, this is Ever After Bakery. They're having a pop-up bake sale through April 9th. Looks like someone is very excited about Easter Sunday. Most of the neighborhood looks like this. I don't plan on oversaturating this walk with pictures of grass. What I do want you to notice is the general lack of energy in this area. It's pretty quiet overall. Somewhat surprising given its central location. I've been walking through a house sprawl so much now that I took too much interest in these Lego pieces. Here's a neat perspective. We're looking south towards the Santa Monica Mountains. If we turn around, you can see the San Gabriel Mountains which bound the valley's north side. Reseda is named after this flower. Reseda odorata, commonly called the mignonette, is native to Mediterranean climates like this one. Fun fact, in the original Karate Kid of 1984, you may know that Daniel LaRusso and his mom are from Reseda. Well, this is the apartment complex they moved into at the start of that film, South Seas Apartments. While it's been renovated quite a bit since then, much of the film was shot in Reseda and surrounding areas like Canoga Park. This is a good time to highlight that local donut shops are a staple of LA culture, but this history is a bit newer than you may think. Cambodian refugees escaping the Khmer Rouge who moved to LA began starting sweet shops back in the 1970s and 80s, with Ted Ngoy being the first. He is nicknamed the Donut King. Reseda has a dominantly modern feel nowadays, though I will add that much of it does feel very localized and separate from the larger LA bustle. We're approaching its central business district, which is the only real walkable part of the neighborhood. Like Van Nuys, the business cluster here is focused around the residents of the community, and it very much feels that way. It may not look like much, but I did find a few hidden gems worth noting. First, the historic Reseda Theater opened in 1948, now a work of art that expresses the vibrancy of its community. Unfortunately, it remains closed for the current time. There is also an escape room center here that is very easy to miss. Architect escape rooms. As someone who loves these, I would come back just for this. Reseda High School was the first high school built in the valley post-World War II, opened in 1955. It was a filming location for many projects, including some scenes from 2017's Spider-Man Homecoming. Unfortunately, I couldn't get a great photo of it because it's mostly surrounded by this. Finishing out the day here at Reseda Park. Alright guys, that is going to be it for today. Not the most interesting walk, not the most interesting area. And that's completely fine. I mean, the goal here is, of course, to showcase all the different sides of Los Angeles. And there are several parts which do have a more laid-back, feel to it, and Reseda is one of them. Between today's walk and last week and Van Nuys, I think that gives you a pretty good overview of, generally speaking, the lifestyle throughout the interior sections of the valley. And this was just a good time to remind you guys that one of the things that I have learned doing this series and exploring Los Angeles as a whole is that you can have any kind of lifestyle that you want, right? I mean, and that's not something that can be said of every city in this country. I mean, if you want that deep, gritty urban lifestyle, you've got it. If you want that modern big city feel, you've got it. Downtown LA, right? If you want bougie and wealthy and expensive, you've got it. If you want rural up in the mountains by the beachside, you know, countryside even, you've got it. Any lifestyle that you want, you can have here. And it is exactly for this reason that any opinion you see or read or hear about Los Angeles must be taken with a grain of salt, because that opinion is going to be based entirely on that person's subjective experience, mine included. I just wanted to remind you guys of that today as we close out this week, because some walks are going to be more interesting than others, but overall, I hope that by exploring each of these different areas, regardless of how interesting they might be on the surface, you really garner a new appreciation for the overall diversity that you get in Los Angeles. And I just think that's a really great thing that that we have that here. So yeah, I'm going to get back on the train and head home, and we will see what we discover next week.